Hey y'all, welcome to the January 2016 edition of my 6 Grateful Things list. But before I get started on the list, I kind of wanted to talk about my blog. I know it's been a little quiet, maybe even silent on my blog the last few weeks. And I hate when my blog is silent. It's really just me trying to balance a lot of things right now. Being in grad school, doing my internship, working part-time, church and like family responsibilities and things of that nature. So I haven't really made the time to write a blog post in a while. And usually my aim is to write one blog post and to do this Grateful Things list as well. But hopefully I'll be able to write a blog post for February. I definitely have a lot of ideas and a lot of things that I want to write about. So thank you so much for just sticking with me on this blog journey and just for your patience during this time. Hopefully when I graduate I'll actually have more time to like dedicate to creative things. So let's start with the list. So the first thing that I'm grateful for is that I started the spring semester of grad school. Now I have one more semester left after this one, and I'll be graduating in August 2017. So I know I say this all the time, but I really feel like the finish line is like getting closer. I'm getting closer and closer. I feel like I'm like on this race. I'm just running, and I'm just like several feet away from the finish line. I'm getting there with God's help, with family and support from friends and all that. I'm getting there. So I'm just glad that I started the spring semester, and I'm glad that this is the year that I'm graduating and I will be an MSW. I will be a social worker. For my second grateful thing, I'm grateful for the opportunity to see the movie Hidden Figures with one of my friends. So if you have not seen Hidden Figures, you need to see it. Please see it before it leaves theaters. This is not something you need to wait for it to go to the red box or wait for it to get on Netflix. Like, you need to see it in the theaters. I feel like it's just one of those stories that you need to hear. It doesn't matter if you're black, white, Latino, Asian. It really doesn't matter, because the story is history. It's American history, yes. It's black history, yes. But everybody needs to know this story. It's a story of 3 black women who worked at NASA and really helped with a lot of the calculations and stuff to help the astronauts get into space. It's just something we don't hear about a lot. And for someone like me who loves learning about history, especially black history, I didn't know about this story. I didn't know that there are so many black women who worked at NASA. And so I think it's just great that this story was even made. I'm glad that it was out. Also, this movie was nominated for Oscars, and so I really, really hope that it wins an Oscar. You know, I have like mixed feelings about the Oscars. Like, I feel like they don't always pick the like best winners. Like, I feel like it's kind of like a popularity contest kind of thing, but I really, really hope that they win an Oscar. So, again, if you have not seen Hidden Figures, you need to see it. You need to see it this week, before this month ends. Like, just go get yourself a ticket and see Hidden Figures. If you're anything like me, the movie had me crying at the end, because it's just like so empowering to see not only like 3 women, but 3 black women in the 1960s doing their thing and like, you know, being trailblazers. Like, it's just such an awesome movie. So again, just see it. For my third grateful thing, I know I always talk about food, but I'm grateful for those little indulgences like chocolate chip cookies and Dunkin' Donuts. They have this bomb triple chocolate muffin. So FYI, eat sweets in moderation, which is always my plan. You know, I'm trying to eat things in moderation. I have a sweet tooth, but last week I was thinking about that triple chocolate muffin and how I wanted to try it, and I had me that triple chocolate muffin, and it was very, very yummy. It was delish. So I'm just grateful that, you know, I can indulge in a sweet once in a while. For my fourth grateful thing, I'm grateful that this winter in New England has been milder. I mean, it's not like 70 degrees weather out here. I mean, I don't live in Florida, but the weather hasn't been crazy. So maybe 2, 3 years ago, we had a really crazy winter where it was snowing. Every time you turned it around, we were having a snowstorm. It was just really chaotic to drive in. It was hard to drive in. I was working at a job where I had to go into people's homes and find places to park and all this kind of stuff, and it was like really chaotic and stressful. So I'm just glad that this winter hasn't been as crazy. We've had a little bit of snow, but not as much snow as we had a few years ago. So it's just always a blessing when New England winter is on the milder side. For my fifth grateful thing, I'm grateful just to be able to celebrate Martin Luther King Day by going to the Martin Luther King community breakfast in my hometown. I go with my dad, and like my church has a table at this community event, and it's really just a day to just honor Dr. King's legacy, to honor him for all the things that he did for just Americans, point blank. Like, I feel like there's just so much that people don't talk about with Martin Luther King. Like, we hear about that I Have a Dream speech, and it was a great speech, but I also feel like we forget about other things that he worked for. We forget that he was into economic justice and like working for the rights of sanitation workers. We forget about his like radical views about the Vietnam War, how he was against the Vietnam War, very much a pacifist, very much a person like that basically said, why are we fighting in this country, but we're fighting against one country, but then in our own country, we're treating people of color badly. I'm paraphrasing what he said. He said it much more eloquently, but I just feel like he was such a radical thinker, but we don't always give him that credit. And I was just so appreciative that I was able to celebrate his legacy at that breakfast. Every year, me and my dad go to this breakfast, and it's really just a time to recognize Dr. King and just what he's done for this country. And for my sixth grateful thing, I'm really, really grateful. As usual, I'm always grateful for this. I'm grateful for God's love and his consistency, and that he's someone that I can depend on. Right now we're in this like interesting period where we have a new president, and while I don't really agree with all the decisions that the president is making right now, some things really concern me. I know at the end of the day that Jesus is my leader and my king, and I pray that the president will make the right decisions. I pray that people of color, immigrants, refugees, I pray that their rights are not taken away. I pray that they're not demoralized. And I've just been hearing some things on the news that have been really concerning me, but I pray despite all those things that are happening around in this country, I'm so, so grateful that I have Jesus. He's somebody that I can depend on. He's someone that I live my life for, and I strive to be the best woman of God that I can be. And so even when things feel really crazy and chaotic and unknown, Jesus is a constant. Jesus is a known entity. I want you guys to hear this. Jesus is a known entity. Despite anything that you are going through right now, in this minute, in this moment, Jesus is somebody that you can depend on. He will always love you. He will always care for you. Family members might not always care for you the way you want them to. You might have issues or challenges or problems with friends or coworkers, but Jesus will always love you. So I know this vlog is running a little longer than usual, but I just felt the need to say that Jesus loves you and he's a constant. He is constant, and he can be a constant in your life if you just allow him to be that constant for you. So let me know what you're grateful for, and just drop it in the comments below. Alrighty, deuces.